The Baltimore Ravens find themselves once again in some controversy. At the beginning of the week, there was questions and rumors and controversy surrounding the entertainment in the Baltimore Ravens locker room. Now, at the end of a week, going into a week 8 matchup, there's controversy and more significant, I might add, surrounding a Lamar Jackson injury designation. We discuss next. What's happening? Welcome back to the Ball Perspective. Let's talk. The Baltimore Ravens this season seem to be on a road to destruction. Anything that could go wrong has gone wrong. A roster that was believed to be the best in the league has not produced results. A bad defense, a bad offensive line, a week 4 injury to Lamar Jackson, bad quarterback play from Cooper Rush. Going to the bye week, not a lot of changes, some practice squad moves, some guys going to IR. Come into the beginning of week 8, there's some in-locker room controversy reported, I believe, by the Baltimore Sun. There were some leadership questions going into the bye week. Controversy, and more controversy. And now here we are with probably the most significant of all the controversies. The league, that being the NFL, is going to be investigating, looking into a Lamar Jackson injury designation. And some of you, kind of jumped into the comment section and said, hey, the Baltimore Ravens, they just lying. And I think that's the crux of it. I don't even think there's a lot of reporting that's going to be needed. This is just a flat out lie, an attempt to deceive the Chicago Bears, an attempt to deceive the fans. And the Baltimore Ravens got caught. I have to put this more on John Harbaugh, not EDC necessarily, because I don't think the injury designation gets approved by EDC. I don't believe this is a misprint. I don't think this was a miscommunication. I don't think this was a misunderstanding. I think it was just a flat out lie. And some of you asked, did I think this would push John Harbaugh to getting fired? I think it pushes him a little closer, but not for the reasons you may think. I don't think it's the reason of the Baltimore Ravens being 1-5. I don't think it's the reason of the Baltimore Ravens underperforming this season. Because I think that some people would give him some grace because of the injuries to Lamar Jackson and other significant players on the team. I think what'll really get him fired is the money. See, the NBA right now is under a high level of scrutiny. They're under a league investigation. They're under a Congress investigation. And you want to know why? Because everybody gets a little bit of the bag when games are played, players score, players are injured, and the results of the game. Everybody gets their hands greased. The people who actually put in bets, the casino owners, the franchise owners, and the bookies. Let's just call it what it is. And when the Baltimore Ravens came into this game, if I'm remembering the article that I read correctly, they were 7-point favorites. It may have been 6, but I'm pretty sure I read 7-point favorites at home against the Chicago Bears when Lamar Jackson was believed to be the starter at quarterback. When the report came out yesterday late, and it was identified that Lamar Jackson was not the starter and he was actually going to be out for this game, the odds went all the way down to 2. And you know what that means? You're messing with the money. It means you're messing with the money. So more important than wins and losses, 1-5, 5-1, those kind of numbers. No. The most important numbers is the millions to billions of dollars that the odds makers get bets placed on. And so when you start playing with a significant player's injury designation, such as a Lamar Jackson, a player who has the potential to move the needle, You're messing with the money. You're messing with 32 of 32 owners' money. You're messing with GM money. You're messing with Harrah's casino money. You're messing with the Bellagio money. You're messing with the TV networks money. And any other stakeholder who offers betting or sports gambling, you're messing with their money. And it goes deeper than just that. You see, because if odds makers can't trust John Harbaugh to give a legitimate injury report when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens, they'll get him up out of there. I'm telling you, they will. Because money is bet on the Baltimore Ravens every single week. And so when you start messing with the money, that'll get you hit. No, not that kind of hit, not a hit, but that'll get you hit. So if John Harbaugh is at risk of losing his job at some point between today and the end of the season, it's because money's on the line. And the truth is, he was just flat out lying. It was no mistake. I don't know how you spell full and limited the same way, but they don't have many letters in common other than the L. So you can't spell full and thought it was limited, and you can't spell limited and thought it was full as it pertains to his practice. You see, because what we heard on Monday is that he was a non-participant. Tuesday, non-participant. That's why I continue to say all week long that he's not ready to go. That's why I continue to chirp about Lamar Jackson not being 100%. And then Wednesday, limited. Thursday, limited. All of a sudden, Friday, he was a full go. What? But how did you get listed as a full participant when you were running the scout team? It's too much evidence out there to say this was just a flat out lie. But let's go one step further. You see, John Harbaugh and the Ravens are a part of that rule-making committee every single year. Aren't they? Don't we hear every offseason at the owners' meetings that John Harbaugh and the Ravens are, submitting rule changes and agreeing to rule changes and things of that nature? Yeah, we hear that every year. Most recently, we heard about the tush push, right? So if anybody's going to know rules and how things are supposed to work, it's going to be John Harbaugh. You see, because just a little bit that I read on how designations happen is this. If a player is a starter and he does not participate in first team reps during team practice or team activity, he has to be listed as limited. That has to be his injury designation, limited. Let me say that again. If a player who is a starter does not participate during team activity, he has to be listed as a limited participant as it pertains to his status. Not he ran the full practice squad, not he stretched and worked out with trainers on the sideline. No, you had to be involved in full team activity. And if he's not, his designation must be limited. And so we learned that, hey, Lamar Jackson ran the practice squad. He wasn't even nowhere near the starters. So what do we call that? A lie. And if anything costs John Harbaugh his job over the next 11, 12 weeks, it's going to be messing with the money. Let me know what you guys want me to know. I got a real heavy hitter coming out tomorrow. Actually, I may have 2 videos that spin off of this topic. So until post-game reaction, I'm your guy Belanger. This is The Ball Perspective. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and I'm out.